Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wrestling with the Apester. I am the Apester himself, of course, and today we are reviewing Payback. You can probably hear the crickets in the background. It is actually nighttime, 11:26 at night. I literally just now finished watching the Payback pay-per-view, and I am here to review that. Currently, I'm just looking out the window right now, and it's pretty nice and breezy. A nice breezy night. Pretty late to be doing this, but we'll see if I can bang this out real quick. Oh man, what a awesome month it's been since the last time I made a podcast episode. I know in the last episode, if you guys don't remember me covering SummerSlam, I did mention that I was looking for a new apartment. And I was waiting for approval, and I got approved, and I am here right now in the new apartment. It is freaking awesome. Not gonna reveal how much I pay in rent, obviously not for privacy reasons, but I know it's got some nice perks to it, you know. 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It's got like a pool area and a fitness center and all that, so it's really cool place to be. Pretty pricey though, for sure, but again, not going to get into that. But before I get into this review, just about a week or so ago, we lost 2 all-time greats, one legend and WWE Hall of Famer, and the other future Hall of Famer, of course. I am talking about Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. I want to talk about Terry Funk for a minute here. I don't really know him much, you know. Obviously not personally. I mean, I wish I did, but man, it's pitch black out here. Anyway, so Terry Funk, man, I've never really seen his matches. I've seen a couple moments of his, like on YouTube and stuff, and all of his extreme moments with like Mick Foley and or as Cactus Jack at the time, I should say. His time in the Attitude Era as well, because he was part of WWE at one point as well, and his the extreme aura that he had, man, and just such a sad time. It's such a sad moment, you know, like to lose a guy like Terry Funk. He was definitely an all-time great. Mick Foley looked up to him, honestly. He was one of the all-time greats. And he will be very dearly missed. And I'm still trying to figure out how he passed away. I'm guessing it's because of his health issues that he's been having. I know he had dementia at one point. I don't know if that was a play that took a play in it, but one that really shook me was the death of Bray Wyatt. This one really got me. This was literally the day after Terry Funk had passed away. We had gotten the very unfortunate news that Bray Wyatt passed away. And literally a day or two after Bray Wyatt passed away, we got an announcement that Bob Barker, former host of Price is Right, passed away. And man, what a crazy week that last week it was for wrestling fans and for Price is Right fans even alike. But man, Bob Barker would be sadly missed. But man, Bray Wyatt too. That one shook me the hardest. I couldn't believe it when I first saw it. The post, like I think I was busy. I was busy all day. I don't remember what I was doing, but I was doing stuff. I think I was doing stuff around the house. I was unpacking stuff, and it came dinner time, and I sat down and pulled out my phone and went on Facebook, and the first thing I saw was Bray Wyatt died, Bray Wyatt died, Bray Wyatt died, and I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be right. Like, no way. I'm thinking, like, the article, like, before I, just like the half a second before I read the article, when I saw Bray Wyatt's face, I thought, hey, he's going to return. But then I started reading the caption, and I was like, damn it, we just lost a freaking great, man. He died at the age of 36 years old, and I believe Terry Funk died at the age of 79, I think, if I'm correct. And Bob Barker, of course, dying at the age of 99. Man, he lived a long life. Long and prosperous life. And it's funny because, well, not funny, but like it's kind of ironic that a couple days ago I was like, man, Bob Barker, he's 99 years old. I don't know, it just came to mind. It was like, damn, Bob Barker's 99 years old. Like, shit, like when this guy passes away, man, it's going to be really sad. And I kind of jinxed myself with that, and it happened. Man, really sad though for those three greats to pass away. Bob Barker, of course, Terry Funk, and Bray Wyatt. But Bray Wyatt shook me the most. Obviously, my condolences to all the families of all three of these gentlemen. But the Bray Wyatt one really shook me the most. I guess because like Bray Wyatt started, like when I started watching wrestling, Bray Wyatt had just debuted on the main roster, and he was basically tag teaming with Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, another great as well in the ring, Luke Harper. He's joining Luke Harper now up in the heavens, and man, he will be dearly missed. Both of them will. But my condolences to all three families, Bob Barker, Terry Funk, and Bray Wyatt. I might do a podcast about Bray Wyatt's career. I'll have to think about that one. But I don't know. I feel like my podcast days are winding down. I don't know. I just don't have the urge to do it anymore. I mean, I know I've only done a couple episodes, but I don't know. I don't know. Like some days I want to do it, some days I don't. But I did commit to doing this one, so I am going to do this one, obviously. But like I said, don't know how long this podcasting game is gonna last. You know, I really have no idea. And speaking of having no idea, I don't know when my girlfriend's coming home. She's out with her family at the moment. 11:30 at night. Hopefully she gets home safe. Just looking out the window, you guys can probably hear the crickets going outside. And I would go outside and do this podcast, but yeah, those crickets are kind of annoying. So I'm just doing this inside the house. I'm in my bedroom, my new bedroom. I've been here about 2 weeks now, so it's been a really great experience being here. Went swimming a couple times in that pool. Pretty cool, and still have yet to go to that gym, that fitness center. So anyway, that takes us to our review for Payback. Quite an eventful night. 6 matches in the card, but quite an eventful night. Again, I just finished watching Payback. It just ended. I still have my TV on Peacock right now. Right now is actually playing the Kurt Angle documentary, which I'll watch that in time. I'll watch that documentary, and I can't wait to see that. I did watch the Cody Rhodes documentary, and that was awesome. So this takes us to our review for Payback. It was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, of course. I must tell you that I was not fully sat down to watch this pay-per-view. I was doing things around the house. I had dinner. I actually had dinner for in the first match, which was Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. I'll get to it in a second. I was just in and out, looking at TV, eating, whatever, or just doing something around the house. I would look at the TV, do something around the house, whatever it was, and it was basically just back and forth, looking back and forth. But about most of the time, I did get most of it down. I'm going to try to explain it as best I can, but I'm going to try not to be here too long, as it's a little late, and I'm not really that good at going through matches because I'm very forgetful. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot about this spot and that spot, but I know there was one spot in this steel cage match with Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus that I missed. I was washing the dishes, and I heard Michael Cole have an orgasm at ringside, and I was like, damn, something happened. And I look over at the TV, and it showed the replay, and the angle I was watching at, I couldn't really see what to make out what happened. My assumption, I think, is somebody jumped off the top of the cage or something, or they did a move off the top of the cage. I'm not sure. You guys are going to have to correct me on this one, but anyway, it takes us to the first match of the night, Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus in a steel cage match. This basically capped off the rivalry that they've been having since, WrestleMania, I think? Or after WrestleMania? Man, it's about time this rivalry ends, but a new rivalry, ? Starts. I did not expect this at all, but basically Becky Lynch won the match. That was expected, but the unexpected part was after the match, when Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark were in the middle of the ring. And this is where I thought, everybody was going to cheer for Trish and be like, thank you, Trish, and Trish was going to walk away and not come back. But rumor has it is that she's actually sticking around, so I thought, okay, that can't be, the cat can't be it, so what is it? So, for those of you who don't know, Zoe Stark got involved in the match, and essentially, quote-unquote, cost Trish Stratus the match. So Becky won the match with a manhandle slam, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Boom. Match over. Becky Lynch left the ring through the door, of course, and she celebrated all that. And then Zoe Stark and Trish Stratus were left in the middle of the ring. The music stopped playing, and Trish Stratus is like distraught. She's like mad that she lost the match. And she goes to Zoe Stark. She's mad at Zoe Stark, yelling at her. Next thing you know, she slaps Zoe Stark and tells her to get out of the cage. Get out, get out. Zoe Stark walks up to the door, grabs it, and slams it shut and says, nope, I ain't leaving at all. Next thing you know, Zoe Stark attacks Trish Stratus, takes off her Thank You Trish t-shirt and throws it at Trish Stratus and walks off. And I think that's the start of a new rivalry between Zoe Stark and Trish Stratus. Yeah, because like I said, rumor has it that Trish Stratus wants to move on from this rivalry, which I thought would end at WrestleMania, but that would be pretty nuts to kind of push it to WrestleMania. That's a year-long rivalry, man. Good thing they didn't do that, because I don't know how the hell they would have done that. But yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes. I mean, another quote-unquote tag team broken up. And it's funny because I thought they were going to go after the tag titles, but it doesn't seem that way at this. So it looks like we're going for a Zoe Stark and Trish Stratus rivalry now. So that takes us to the match, explaining the match here. I'm just going to skim through this here. Excuse me 1 minute. I'm just going to fill up my water bottle because I'm really thirsty. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Ah, man, I just drank some water. I just realized I kind of emptied out the water bottle to clean it, and I completely forgot, and I realized this after I filled up the water bottle. Yeah, maybe when I empty it out, I'll maybe clean it tomorrow morning or something, but anyway, I usually have a water bottle next to me, because I'm not I don't know if I'm the only one here, but I wake up and I'm, like, really thirsty, but, anyway, so going on back to the match about Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. Let me just open this up real quick. So I am looking at this through CBS Sports. I'm just skimming through this as I go along here. So looks like here Stratus immediately tried to escape out of the cage door and then climb the cage walls, but Lynch was able to cut her off and take over the fight. Stratus just basically kept trying to escape, but Becky Lynch just kept pulling her back into the ring. This was a pretty cool match, some pretty cool moments. Like I said, I believe there was a diving move in this match. Let me see if I can find it somewhere. The pair exchanged punches after Lynch countered Stratus's headstand Rana from the top rope. That sounds pretty cool. Again, I was just in and out watching the match, so I didn't watch the match 100% in full. None of these matches I watched 100% in full, except for not the tag matches. I don't remember which. I know I watched partial of the main event, which I'll get into that. But I don't think there was like a full match that I actually sat down to watch though. But like I was just back and forth, just doing things around the house and watching at the same time. So, anyway. Stratus came back with the Widow's Peak from her own near fall, the move being a shout-out to Victoria, who faced Lita in the first cage match between women in WWE history. Lynch would hit Lita's Twist of Fate moments later. And speaking of Lita, I thought Lita was going to get involved in this, to be quite honest with you, because I thought we were going to start maybe like another Trish and Lita rivalry, which I think they should do that for WrestleMania. Trish versus Lita. Maybe Lita gets the win and both of them retire. They both go their separate ways, and that's that. That's actually a pretty good idea. WWE should take that into consideration for WrestleMania 40. It sounds like an awesome, awesome plan. Stratus nearly made her escape, managing to get over the top rope of the cage, and partway down the other side was caught by Lynch, who pulled her back up by her hair and hung her upside down after Stratus's legs were caught on the top of the cage. This led to Lynch hitting a superplex from the top rope for another 2 count. And here's where we get close to like the end of the match, where Zoe Stark basically gets involved. It basically preventing Becky Lynch from leaving the cage and slamming the cage door in her face. And then came a moment eventually where Becky Lynch hit a manhandle slam and Stark got involved in the match. I know at one point as well, Trish Stratus was trying to escape the cage, and Becky tried pulling her back in, but Zoe Stark was trying to pull her out, and they were playing tug of war with Trish Stratus. I found that kind of funny at one point. I know Becky Lynch hit Zoe Stark with a manhandle slam, also going to the top rope and hitting Trish Stratus with a manhandle slam to end the match. And then that's when the Becky Lynch celebrates the end of the match. Of course, Becky winning the match, and she went off. And that's when the whole Trish Stratus Zoe Stark incident happened, where Zoe Stark attacked Trish Stratus and walked off. They gave it a B plus grade. I thought it was Becky Lynch defeated Trish Stratus via pinfall. I thought it was a pretty cool match. As far as what I saw, I did not sit there with my eyes glued to the TV. My eyes were glued on other things, but yeah, the winner of the steel cage match is Becky Lynch. So let me see if I can find the next match, which I believe was The Miz versus LA Knight. Let me just go through this real quick. I'm actually going backwards here. So the next moment here saw John Cena, who is the host of this evening's event. He came out and he's basically hosting. You know, not much I could say about that. He came out to a great ovation. He basically thought, hey, what better way to be here to be the host than to be a special guest referee for the Miz versus LA Knight match, which is coming up next. The Miz basically comes out and he goes off on John Cena. He basically says, like, man, you're almost 50 years old and you still look like a freaking Teletubby, and it's crazy because John Cena asks the Miz for I guess pointers on how to be a host, and he goes, well, you got to be a little bit more professional. And John Cena was like, okay, well, or he's got to plan himself better. He says, all right, well, how about I plan this? How about I be the special guest referee for your match? And the crowd went crazy, and Miz disagreed on that. He was like, no, and he's like, no, he's like, oh, you don't even have a referee shirt. What do you know? John Cena had a referee shirt. He pulled it out of his ass. I don't know where. I didn't look where he got it from, but he pulled it out of his ass. He's like, oh, I got a referee shirt. He put the thing on, and yeah, out came LA Knight, because of course John Cena was like, yeah, and then Miz was like, no, and John Cena was like, yeah, and then he pointed at the ring ramp, and out came LA Knight. The crowd went crazy as always. Man, LA Knight is over like Rover. Give him the world title. Give him the tag team titles. Give him the women's title. Give him every title in the world. Please, just do that. Just do me that favor, please, for the love of God. So, the match with The Miz versus LA Knight, it takes us to that. Quite a transition, huh? It takes us to LA Knight versus The Miz. I missed a lot of this match. I really, really did. All I know is that LA Knight won via a pinfall victory, clean, over The Miz. So, I'm just going to skim through this a little bit here. Payback host John Cena came to the ring before the match and said he was making himself the special referee for the match. Miz took issue to Cena's decision, trying to talk him out of it before berating Cena. Cena ultimately was handed a referee shirt. Oh, that's what it was. Again, it came out of his ass. And Knight came to the ring. Once the bell sounded, Miz tried to leave the ring, but was chased down by Knight before the two started trading strikes in and out of the ring. Miz quickly took over, started to wear Knight out with punches and slamming him into the ringside guardrail, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to skim through all this. This is my way of making notes. All I got to do is just go on Google and look up the results. This is literally how I do notes. I'm that lazy. So, you know. Man, I got to put this trash out. Let me put this in the living room. Anyway. Miz came back with a pair of DDTs after a run of LA Knight's offense. Miz hit a skull-crushing finale, but only got a 2 count. Miz mocked Cena and went for the Cena's "You Can't See Me" fist drop, only to be countered by Knight, who hit the BFT for the victory. After the match, Knight and Cena jawed at each other a bit before shaking hands. It may be a personal issue, but the match felt like it dragged a bit by going a bit longer than it needed to. Still, the right man won and got endorsement from John Cena, which is a big thing for in WWE, and they gave it a B- grade. Yeah, I can't judge whether or not it deserved to get a B- grade or not. I really don't know, because, I was just in and out watching the pay-per-view, so I don't really know 100%. Like, I can't really tell you. But I'm not good at explaining the mid-match. Like, I'm not good at explaining the matches as in, like what happened during the match. The only thing I can explain to you are the more memorable moments, like a betrayal or like high spots, things like that. Like, I can't remember, the Miz got the first punch in the match, you know? Like, how am I supposed to remember that? Anywho, so yeah, LA Knight defeated the Miz. Awesome. LA Knight, needed the damn win, obviously. If the Miz had won that, I don't know what the hell we would have done. That takes us to our next match, which I believe could have been the U.S. title match. Also, we got Tiffany Stratton. She was in the crowd tonight, as well as the Great Muta, which appeared later on in the show in the main event. Which I didn't even think it was the Great Muta. It looked nothing like him, because am I the only one that's used to seeing him with that face paint? Like, man, it looked nothing like him because of the face paint, So Tiffany Stratton was there. She had the NXT Women's Championship with her, of course. So this takes us to our next match, the United States Championship with Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory. Thank God Austin Theory lost the U.S. title. It's about time. The last person I expected to win that was Rey Mysterio, to be quite honest with you. But hey, listen, hey ho, new United States champion, thank goodness. Now, guys, this happened on a SmackDown. I did watch this. I think I might have been driving home. I remember, I don't know where I was, but I was driving home, and I had it playing in the background, and all I heard was, "and new United States champion." I was like, what? At first, when I heard the words, "and new," I thought, okay, it can't be Roman Reigns. Why would he lose it on a SmackDown? Because I had forgotten Austin Theory was going to defend the title. And I was like, oh, man, it can't be the tag titles. They wouldn't have lost it that quick. It can't be the women's championship matches. I was like, wait a minute. I forgot the United States Championship match with Austin Theory and Santos Escobar. But then again, Santos Escobar got injured, and Rey Mysterio took his place. And that's when, I didn't think about that at the time. I was like, why did Rey Mysterio, wasn't it supposed to be Santos Escobar? And then I early in the night, I guess Santos Escobar got injured and got replaced by Rey Mysterio. But anyway, Rey Mysterio won the title, and oh my God, thank God we got that title off of Austin Theory. The U.S. title was literally dog poop. I almost said another word, but dog poop. Dog crap. Thank God Rey Mysterio is holding another title. That's pretty cool. It's pretty rare to see Rey Mysterio holding a title. We don't really see that often. Just give me 1 second. Let me take a sip of my water before I go ahead and review the match itself. Damn. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway. It's a pretty nice bottle. It's actually a Bubba bottle. It's one of those bottles that keeps your drink cold. Really cool. I keep it at the side of my bed. It stays cold all night. It's freaking awesome. So worth the money. It was like $10 for it. $10, $15 at Walmart. Anyway, United States Championship match, Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory, and I can literally spoil this to you right now that Rey Mysterio defeated Austin Theory to retain the United States Championship via pinfall. So let me just go skim through this a little bit here. Mysterio quickly took the upper hand, going right at Theory with punches in the corner, but Theory quickly slowed things down with a big clothesline. Theory used his power to cut off several Mysterio comebacks, going repeatedly to chin locks to ground Mysterio. Theory tossed Mysterio around the ring, dominating it with ease until the decision to try and rip Mysterio's mask off. And man, you can see part of Mysterio's mask too, because I remember seeing this moment, and you can see like part of Rey Mysterio's face, and you're like, oh, what does he look like? Even though it's pretty obvious what Rey Mysterio looks like, because you see pictures leaked online and stuff like that, and you see, of course, Rey Mysterio back in WCW when he had to unmask. He had no other choice. I guess he lost a match that night, and pretty sad for Rey Mysterio that night, by the way. Mysterio also hit the sliding tornado DDT to the outside of the ring to set up a near fall. Theory nearly stole the match with a sit-out torture rack, powerbomb, and a dropkick. But Mysterio continued to battle out of pins. Mysterio hit a 619, but Theory countered it by getting his knees up and tried to roll through to hit Mysterio with an A-Town down. Mysterio countered the move with a roll-up to score the pinfall. And then CBS says that the match felt a bit flat, but did not run too long like Miz vs. Knight. The finishing section was a nice bit of work with the counters, and Rey Mysterio remains a bit ageless, while young Theory needs something to freshen his act up. I kind of like Austin Theory's character, because it's kind of like he comes out in a suit and the glasses, and like I kind of like that about Theory, but at the same time he does need a little bit of refreshing. He does need a little bit of a touch-up here and there, so... And am I the only one that thought... So, LWO, the entirety of LWO came out. I completely forgot that the other two, I don't even know their names, came out with LWO. Am I the only one that forgot that they were even part of the group? Because LWO, the only people I thought were part of LWO were Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, and Zelina Vega. But little did we know, there were two more. They all came out to celebrate the victory. Santos Escobar picked up Rey Mysterio onto his shoulders. And am I the only one that thought that Santos Escobar was going to drop Rey Mysterio on his ass? Man, I thought he was going to turn on him, because rumor has it that Santos Escobar is going to turn on Rey Mysterio. But then again, I thought he's with the LWO, the rest of them, and I didn't think they were all gonna turn on Rey like that. I mean, imagine Rey Mysterio turning heel. That's never actually happened before. The only time it's ever happened is in a video game in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. If you know, if you know, you know. If you don't know, then man, you should really go play that game. Highly recommend it. Anyway, so yeah, that was a cool match. Again, this was probably the one match I watched the least in the entire night, but they gave it a B- grade. Awesome to see that Rey Mysterio retained the title. So, I believe this takes us to the tag team titles next. I just have to find on this page. I'm going backwards here on this page, so just give me 1 minute. I'm trying to find the next section here. Give me 1 minute. I gotta go to the first page here to find it. Just give me one moment. Let me go ahead and find this. Alright, looks like I'm back on track here. I went all the way to the beginning of the page, and CBS updated the page here, so it shows us here that the next match was indeed the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match. Current champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Finn Balor and Damian Priest, and I will not spoil the end of this match until I get to it. Let's just say I did not expect this. We'll just read through it first, and then I'll tell you the results. But all I know is that the entire Judgment Day got involved, and I think you know where I'm going with this. But it's not the first time we will see the Judgment Day. The teams immediately paired off with Zayn and Balor brawling in the ring, and Owens and Priest on the outside. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot to tell you guys this. This was a no disqualification match. Out of the blue. I had no idea this was going to happen. Was there something I missed? on Raw or SmackDown? Like, did I miss something? Like, they basically said, like, hey, like, it's a no DQ match, guys. I think it was a Pittsburgh steel or a Pittsburgh street fight or something like that. I don't even freaking know, but anyway. Yeah, so the teams immediately paired off with Zayn and Balor brawling in the ring and Owens and Priest on the outside. Balor quickly used a kendo stick to get the advantage, but Owens re-entered the picture and attacked Balor, and after Balor stomped on a Pittsburgh Steelers terrible towel. I thought there'd be more to the sentence, sorry. After Zayn hit a dive onto the Judgment Day members, he and Owens used trash cans on Priest and then put a can over Balor and took turns hitting it with kendo sticks. Man, a little poke, nudge to Mr. Terry Funk there. Which, by the way, they had a hardcore match, tag team hardcore match on SmackDown, and that wasn't much of a hardcore match. But, hey, it was a match in homage to Terry Funk. You know, I thought it was cool only because of that reason. So, but tonight, this match was more hardcore, I can tell you right now, than that SmackDown match. But, again, that match was in homage to Terry Funk, so I respect that. There was only a table spot in that match. But anyway, going back here. After Zayn hit a dive onto the Judgment Day members, he and Owens used trash cans on Priest. And I already read that, sorry. After back and forth action, Dominic Mysterio made his way to ringside to help the Judgment Day teammates take over. Here we go with the Judgment Day. Owens was busted open, blood covering his face. The pair came back to take out... came back by taking out Mysterio. Back in the ring, Zayn hit Balor with a blue thunder bomb onto a pile of chairs while Owens was cleaning up at ringside. The action basically spilled outside into the ring crowd, and Priest used a hockey stick on Owens and Zayn. Out in the crowd, Zayn hit Priest with a dive off the desk, used for the kickoff show before Mysterio again involved himself. This resulted in Owens putting Mysterio through a table with a swanton from the security guardrails. The action went back to the ring, and Zayn put Balor through a table before Owens hits Priest with a stunner to set up Zayn for the haluva kick. And I believe at some point in this match, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had the Pittsburgh Steelers jerseys on, and they came out with the hockey sticks, and they're going off on the Judgment Day with the hockey sticks, and they were on top of the ramp as well with Dominic Mysterio, and they were playing a little sword fight here with the sticks. Yeah, never mind, I shouldn't have worded it like that, but anyway, JD McDonough ran out there to break up the pin. Owens took out McDonough, but was speared through the ringside barricade by Rhea Ripley. And this is the point where the entire Judgment Day is out there. And, here we go. Another Judgment Day match. You can know where I'm going with this now, because I'm getting to the end of the match. Zayn hit Balor with a haluva kick, but the pin was broken up by Mysterio running into a hit and hit Zayn with Priest's Money in the Bank briefcase. So basically what happened here was that Dominic Mysterio came in the ring with the briefcase, hit him upside the head as he was going for the pin. Sami Zayn turned over and landed on it. He basically turned over and rolled over on his back. And Finn Balor basically rolled up and put his arm over Sami Zayn to get the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. And if you can believe this... If you're not going to believe what's coming out of my mouth right now, we have new tag team champions in Finn Balor and Damian Priest, thanks to the help of the rest of the Judgment Day and JD McDonough. Oh boy. Yeah, the crowd... The crowd didn't take lightly to this, and neither did social media, which they never take lightly to anything. You can give them what they want, and they'll still complain about it. And if you're one of those people, get the hell out of my podcast, alright? I'm kidding, you guys all have opinions, but man, there are people that really go out there, and all they do is bitch and complain. Dude, just enjoy it for what it is. It's entertainment, man. They're heels. They're bad guys. They're supposed to make you angry. I understand this is every night that WWE has an event, and it's the same thing, same crap every night. And I understand it gets tiring. I get it. It's frustrating. But man, it's entertainment. Eventually, you will get your way. Trust me, someone's going to come over and take those 2 titles from those guys eventually. I don't know who it's going to be, but eventually it's going to hell, like the Street Profits. I would love to see the Street Profits come in and take those titles away from them. And take the World Heavyweight and Bobby Lashley take the World Heavyweight Championship from Seth Rollins or Damian Priest, whoever it's going to be at that point, which I thought Damian Priest was going to cash in tonight, but spoiler alert, he did not. So, the finish of the match, Finn Balor, Damian Priest defeats Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn via pinfall to win the titles. B+ grade, CBS gives it. Some car is coming here. Oh, is that my girlfriend? I think it is. I think she just got home. Yeah, she just got home. Cool. So that's the end of that match. That takes us to a segment with Cody Rhodes on the Grayson Waller effect. Basically, Grayson Waller had the Grayson Waller effect. His guest was Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes comes out, and he talks about Raw and SmackDown and NXT and asks Grayson Waller, hey, you watch NXT, right? Hey, you watch SmackDown and Raw, and you see what happens. And basically, my announcement is, and this is where I thought Cody Rhodes was going to move to SmackDown, but then I thought, nah, the brand split doesn't exist anymore. But if you can believe this, by the way, Jey Uso quit the WWE. He quit SmackDown. This was all on a SmackDown. He said, I quit SmackDown and I quit the WWE. If you can believe it, Cody Rhodes had the nerve, in a good way, to say the following. Please, this is not exact, but he welcomed out the newest member to Monday Night Raw, Jey Uso. Holy crap, this is cool. Immediately, the first thing I thought was, well, there goes all the rumors and all the speculation about Jey Uso going to AEW. No, he's not going to AEW, and clearly he's not, especially considering that he just got, I guess, hired back on, or he signed a extension of the contract, I'm guessing. So yeah, now we're going to be doing Jimmy on one roster, Jay on another, even though, again, the brand split, what is the brand split anymore? So, but basically that was the point of the Grayson Waller effect there, and Jey Uso ended up eventually attacking Jey Uso attacked Grayson Waller because Grayson Waller was basically just freaking going down on him. Like, okay, not like that. Please don't take that the wrong way. He basically was just telling him, like, yeah, you're back. Okay, you were only gone 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. And eventually he got super kicked, and that was the end of that. The next match is the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, but I will actually talk about that tomorrow. I am going to end this podcast off just for this moment right here. So I will be back with you tomorrow morning, probably around 11 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to end this part of the recording at this very moment, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning to continue the recording. It's going to be on one podcast video, but just going to end this recording for the night because it's pretty late. So I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Good morning, everybody. It is the next day of the pay-per-view, obviously. Payback was last night. I reviewed most of the matches last night, and for today, we're going to be reviewing, of course, the Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez match, as well as the main event and anything else that I had forgotten to review. So, bear with me here. I'm a little tired, man. I literally got a phone call this morning, and it literally, I was still asleep, and it was something to do with them canceling my appointment for today. If you don't know, I had Xfinity come in here to check out my router again, because I had some issues with my internet, and apparently I didn't read the voicemail, so I got really mad, and I threw my phone, and I kind of just laid there, and my girlfriend was just like, oh, you good? And I was just sitting there just like angry. She was like, oh, well, okay. But yeah, I ended up reading the voicemail, and they were like, oh, well, the technicians have identified and fixed the issue, so we decided to cancel your appointment. and we decided to make an appointment for you for Monday between 2 and 4, which is tomorrow. And the last thing I want to do is sit here on my day off on Labor Day, waiting for a technician to come out here, because tomorrow's going to be 80-something degrees, and I want to go swimming in that pool. So, yeah, I canceled that appointment, and they said they corrected the issue, and it seems like they did, because for the first time in me being here tomorrow I think makes about, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks rather, that I've been here. So finally, for the first time, I connected to the router and I immediately connected. So let's hope it stays that way. And that's the kind of issues I was having with my router, though. Like, it would connect and then they'll be on the phone and be like, all right, you're good. But little do they know, a couple hours later it'll disconnect and it'll stay off for hours and hours on end. So there are specific times where it does it too. It's weird. It does it maybe around nighttime or noon. Anyway, I'm just going to go back to reviewing Payback while I try to figure out what the hell I'm going to have for breakfast. I am hungry. So our next match here, if you don't know, I reviewed the Cody Rhodes on the Grayson Waller effect. Basically, he introduced Jey Uso to the Monday Night Raw roster. It doesn't really matter anymore because the freaking brand split don't even matter no more. I mean, it's whatever, so... Anyway, Jey Uso's back. Awesome to see that. Don't know what they're going to do with him and Jimmy, but oh well. So now this takes us to the Women's World Heavyweight Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez. And man, am I the only one that thought that this went longer than I thought it was going to? I thought it was literally going to last 10 minutes at most and then end with Rhea Ripley squashing Raquel Rodriguez, and man, it didn't. That's not how it ended. And just bear with me, I'm opening up my my door for my patio, because I have a patio in this apartment. Can you believe it? I'm looking outside, and it's pretty beautiful out today. I think it's 70-something degrees out here, so it's a pretty nice day. So, again, World Heavyweight Championship match, Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley. I thought it was a really good match. I didn't sit down and fully watch the match. I didn't sit down and fully watch any of these matches, if I'm going to be honest with you. But I did, watch most of this match, and I thought it was a really cool match. They went back and forth between each other, and it lasted a lot longer than I thought. So let's go ahead and see what CBS Sports thought about this. So they had a B+ grade on it. Rhea Ripley defeats Raquel Rodriguez via pinfall to retain the title. I know Dominic Mysterio got involved in the match at one point, and that's what caused Rhea Ripley to retain. So let's go ahead and see what CBS News thought about this. The two women went power versus power early, with neither able to back the other woman down or score a knockdown with a shoulder tackle. That lasted until they ran the ropes in opposite directions, and Rodriguez did score the first knockdown of the match. Rodriguez was also able to resist multiple Irish whips, attempts. Sorry, it's pretty early over here. 10 o'clock in the morning is pretty early for me, sorry. Attempts from Rhea Ripley, but Ripley, now bleeding from the nose, was able to hit a drop kick and start the match trending in her direction. So Ripley continued to dominate. I'm just going to skim through this a little bit here. Kicking Rodriguez off the middle rope and hanging her in the Tree of Woe. Rodriguez used an impressive delayed suplex and an elbow off the second rope for a near fall. Ripley nearly won with a running knee moments later, but an arrogant pin allowed Rodriguez to kick out. Rodriguez countered the riptide and tried to throw Ripley from the powerbomb position into the ropes, but the spot didn't connect correctly. Rodriguez continued to attack before Ripley attacked the knee and locked in the prism lock. This wore down Rodriguez's knee, leaving her unable to fully execute some of her moves. Eventually, Rodriguez got some stability back, and they took the fight outside of the rings. She slammed Ripley into the ringside barricade. That poor barricade, man. That barricade every night is always suffering some hell, man. As per Simon Miller, of course, he is already at number 100 on his counter. If you know, you know. If you don't know, then, man, you should go check it out. His ups and downs shows. 100 times this year that the barricade, Barry Barricade is what he names him, I don't even know if it's a him or her, but Barry Barricade, quote unquote, has been destroyed 100 times this year. Man, can you believe that? I don't know if that's just done in WWE or if that's all around wrestling in general, like AEW and all that. But anyway, Dominic Mysterio made his way to the ring and to ringside, and after Rodriguez dragged him into the ring, she hit him with a power slam, but the distraction was enough for Ripley to kick Rodriguez in the knee and hit the Riptide for the win. And yeah, that basically was it. Rhea Ripley wins the match, retains the title, thank God. I don't know who's going to take the title away from Rhea Ripley, to be honest with you. I can see like an upcomer taking the title away, maybe. Or maybe someone bigger than Rhea Ripley, even though right now there's nobody really bigger than Rhea Ripley at this moment. I don't mean by size, I mean like a bigger star than Rhea Ripley, if I'm going to be honest with you. And I kind of hope that Charlotte doesn't sneak her way in to Monday Night Raw and try to win this title. I mean, because it will count as a freaking world title victory, and she will become a 15-time champion. And the last thing I want to see is Charlotte Flair in the middle of her career as a 15-time champion, when it took her father 30-plus years to become a 16-time champion. So they're clearly pushing for her to beat her father's record. And a lot of her title reigns didn't last long. So whoever takes the title from Rhea Ripley, I mean, Raquel could be the one, honestly, maybe one day to do it. I would personally love to see that. But I don't know. Who knows? Who's going to take the title from Rhea Ripley? The answer is, in my opinion, I don't know. So, Rhea Ripley defeats Raquel Rodriguez via pinfall to retain the title. They graded it a B+. That takes us to our main event here. And no, I did not miss anything. I thought I was going to miss something here. But no, this only takes us to our main event. It was a somewhat short pay-per-view. No, not really. It's about a 4-hour pay-per-view. I thought it would be a little shorter because of the matches. But it was a really cool pay-per-view, you know, overall. And I call it a pay-per-view. To me, it's still not a premium live event. I cannot wrap my mind around a premium live event. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. But it takes us to the World Heavyweight Championship match, which is the main event between Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura. And man, a lot of people thought Shinsuke was going to take the title off of Seth. And am I the only one, sorry, of the change of acoustics here. I went from one room to the other, but I'm going to go back to the living room here because it's a little cooler in here. Anyway, yeah, so a lot of people thought Shinsuke Nakamura was actually going to win the world title. And don't get me wrong, like, this is my opinion. I wanted Shinsuke Nakamura to win the title, but at the same time, I didn't want Seth to lose the title. So I was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, and a lot of people thought Damian Priest was going to cash in as well, and I thought he was too, to be honest, because especially considering the condition that Seth Rollins was in, like he was in a bad state. But then once he started to get up, that's when I was like, all right, yeah, there's no way he's going to cash in. I think the only way he's going to cash in is if the champion is down completely, like he's out, like he's out of it. Seth Rollins was at first out of it, but he got up, and you know. So basically in this match, his back played a big role here. Shinsuke Nakamura targeted the back a lot in this match. At one point, Seth Rollins went for a powerbomb and literally... And by the way, I'm doing this without reading the page. Can you believe this? I'm actually reviewing this match without reading the description here. At one point, Seth Rollins went for a powerbomb and his back affected him, so it stopped him from doing it. But all I know is that Seth Rollins retained the title. He had his hand raised high, and that was the end of the event. That was it. It ended just like that, and it brought us to the Kurt Angle documentary, which I didn't watch again. I'll probably watch it maybe today or maybe tomorrow at some point. I'll see if I can tune in and watch it. I can't wait to watch it. So anyway, the World Heavyweight Championship match. They gave it a B+ grade. I would have given it maybe a B or maybe an A-, I guess. But so let's go ahead and see what CBS News thought about this. Even in my opinion, like I said, I wanted Shinsuke to win, but at the same time, I didn't want Seth to lose the title yet, because he's only been holding it since Night of Champions, is it? So I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe it's because, like, we're so used to seeing one guy hold a championship for so long that a couple months makes it seem like he just won the title yesterday. Like, I don't know what, like, now, I don't think I'll ever recover from that. Like, I don't think I'll ever see, like, a title reign and be like, all right, the title reign was 2 years long. Like, and it's not going to be worth shit because 2 years ain't nothing compared to what Roman Reigns was holding the title for. Because Roman Reigns has been holding the title since I was a freaking baby at this point. So, you know. But anyway, let's see what CBS thought about this match. So we're just going to go ahead and skim through this a little bit here. Pretty long. Japanese wrestling legend Keiji Muto, or everybody knows him as the Great Muta. He was in the crowd tonight for this. And as I mentioned earlier, I did it, or yesterday technically, but earlier in the podcast, I should say that, but he didn't look like the Great Muta. Man, like, I'm just used to seeing him with the face paint. Like, I've never seen him without the face paint. I mean, I don't know. I've never really watched him wrestle or anything, but, like, I'm just going off of, like, watching him, like, in his Hall of Fame speech, and then going off of it now, and I'm like, damn, like, it looks like a completely different person. So it's crazy what face paint can do to you, man. And Sting is kind of the same way too. It's hard to believe that Sting without face paint is actually Sting, you know, or like Goldust without his spray, without his face paint is actually Goldust, you know. But yeah. Anyway, back to the review here. So. The Great Muta was actually ringside. He was watching with the crowd. This was before the match, obviously. Now, it's crazy because Seth Rollins made his entrance first, and then Nakamura in a really cool little mini promo played at the beginning of it. Like, it was like some kind of like like an anime themed like promo played on the screen, and he was speaking in Japanese, and it was so cool. I loved it. I love his character right now. Like, I really honestly believed that Shinsuke was going to win this title after seeing that. I was like, damn, this is badass. Like, maybe he does have a chance to win the title. But no, I'm not going to say they squashed him either, because they didn't, because he put on a really good performance. So kudos to both men. Anyway, back to the review here. Some basic chain wrestling opened the match before Nakamura began taunting Rollins about his injured back. This led to Nakamura attacking the back for the first time with a kick. Rollins handled it well, however, and he continued to roll before forcing Nakamura to leave the ring and opening him up to a suicide dive. Nakamura hit a backdrop and began driving strikes into Rollins' back. As the action spilled to ringside, Nakamura continued his attack on Rollins' back, dropping him on the commentary desk and tossing him into the barricade. Again, barricade, man, can't catch a break. Nakamura basically kept focusing on Seth Rollins' back, using submission holds and strikes and trying to wear the champion down. And then Rollins started fighting back, basically, and put Nakamura on the top rope, but Nakamura hesitated and decided not to go for a suplex, using a Hurricane instead to avoid landing on his back. Oh, wait, no, that was Seth Rollins doing it, sorry. To avoid landing on his back. Rollins continued to show signs of injury with every move he landed, leading into a frog splash for a near fall that again left Rollins in pain. So at this point in the match, Rollins' back is really starting to come into effect. I feel like it wasn't, like, ever since Nakamura mentioned the back, that's when Seth Rollins started playing the fact that his back is injured. Because before then, like, I don't think Seth Rollins showed any signs that he had an injured back. Like, he just hid it. Like, he had it hiding, like, deep within, you know, like nobody had any idea about this. So, all of a sudden, now that Nakamura mentions it, Rollins is bringing it into effect. So I feel like this could be a storyline, and that's a question that I'm answering for a friend of mine at work that asked me. If you're listening on right now, dude, he asked me if the injury was real. The answer is I don't know. It's not. I feel like it's not, but maybe it could be because of how serious they're making it. but it's a really hard question to answer. It was a really good question, man. I don't know. I'm going to say yes. But at the same time, I feel like it's not because, again, I feel like Seth Rollins is only starting to play an effect here with his back ever since Nakamura mentioned it. So, I don't know. I really don't know. It's a good question, dude. I'm just going to say yes to answer your question. If you're listening to this now, first of all, I appreciate you listening. Second of all, yeah, I possibly think it's a real injury. I mean, I think it is now. I mean, Nakamura really did a number on him, but anyway. Rollins began to yell at Nakamura that he knows that his back is injured and it leaves his wife to worry. And Nakamura doesn't need to make her worry more. This led to Nakamura again taking over with a flurry of attacks to Rollins' back before Rollins was able to hit a super kick as Nakamura went for a Kinshasa. Nakamura countered a strike into an armbar. And this armbar lasted about a lifetime here because, man, Rollins, you can see Rollins' fingers, like, shaking and all that, like moving around, like, as to say, like, hey, I'm still alive, I'm still here. And this is the part where Seth Rollins countered it, or tried to counter it. There's a plane going by, sorry. Seth Rollins started to try and counter it with a powerbomb, but he failed to do so because of his back. And then, eventually, he mustered through the pain, and he gave him the powerbomb and countered the armbar. And yeah. Nakamura countered a strike into an armbar, which he turned into a triangle choke. Rollins managed to hit a powerbomb to break the choke and score a near fall. After changing strikes, Nakamura hit a landslide from the second rope for another near fall, and then a Kinshasa to the back of Rollins' neck. Whew! Nakamura waited in the corner to land another Kinshasa, but Rollins collapsed instead. And I didn't notice this because I was kind of looking away. I don't know what I was looking at, but I looked away. I think I was looking at something else. Nakamura landed a flurry of strikes, but Rollins hit a pedigree to put Nakamura down and set up a stomp, only to run into a Nakamura kick. A series of reversals followed before Rollins connected with a stomp for the win. A good mix of old school and modern storytelling, the match featured a classic approach of working over a specific body part before Rollins was able to find a way to win and retain his title. Seth Rollins defeats Shinsuke Nakamura via pinfall to retain the title, and they gave it a B+ grade. And that ended off the pay-per-view. And apparently they typed in again. Oh, I see, because now if you keep scrolling through the article, it goes backwards now. Now it's Seth Rollins versus Nakamura, then it goes Raquel versus Rhea Ripley. Yeah, apparently it's all backwards. This is the way I was reading it the first time. I was reading it backwards. But then I scrolled all the way to the beginning of the article, and it was all in order going down the page properly. So if you don't know, then I would just look it up. CBS Sports Payback results or whatever. Anyway, so that ends the review. That ends the Premium Live event. What should I give it? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I think I'll give it a thumbs up. You know, I think it was cool. Really nice to see that. And I'll probably be tuned into Monday Night Raw to see what they do with Jey Uso. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, it kind of seems as though they're going in the direction of Grayson Waller versus Jey Uso, maybe. But even though Grayson Waller's on SmackDown, but like I said before, and I'll say it again, looking for the word, sorry. The brand split, yeah, there it is. The brand split doesn't exist anymore, apparently. So, you know, I feel like that may not be the case. Maybe that was just like to send the message to Grayson Waller, like, hey, I'm coming to Monday Night Raw, even though Grayson Waller, again, ain't he on SmackDown? I think he's on SmackDown. Anyway, that puts an end to this review. I appreciate you guys listening on. Thank you so much for joining me. I am going to go figure out what I'm going to eat for breakfast now because I am hungry. I might even have some cereal. I don't know. I got some cereal right there and some milk in the fridge, so I might do that. Get almond milk. I highly recommend almond milk. It is freaking delicious. It doesn't expire as fast as regular milk. It is so smack, man. I recommend you get it. Anyway, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dogs and cats and kittens about me, man. Go ahead and share this podcast. I will be putting it in the description below here of this podcast. So please do go ahead and listen to my podcast. I would really appreciate that. Tell your friends about me. Again, family, friends. Tell everybody about me, man. Just, get the ball rolling here on my new podcast. I know I'm a newbie at this, but I think I'll get it eventually. I think I'll get it. I don't know. I've been thinking about not doing it anymore, but at the same time, like, I want to do it. Like, there's days where I want to do it, there's days where I don't. It's the same thing with YouTube. Like, there's days where I want to do YouTube, and there's days where I don't want to do YouTube. So, but I do appreciate, for those of you who do listen on, I do appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you so much for it. I appreciate that. At least I know, like, I'm putting my time in, and at least somebody's listening to it, But, man, I am really enjoying living in this apartment, and my game room is better than ever. It's going here right now, actually. Whew! Oh, it stinks in here. I gotta let this room air out. This door is always closed. So, man, I'm staring at my game room right now, looking around, and, man, I am so happy with the results. But I got the cabinets, like, up against the wall, the arcade cabinets against the wall, and I got 2 shelvings here with all the game cases and stuff like that, and the TV's hung up on the wall, and it's so badass. I got all my consoles on the TV stand, like all the PlayStation consoles on the top shelf, Xbox on the middle shelf, and the Wii and the Nintendo Switch on the bottom shelf. Sorry, I'm just texting my girlfriend. She just got to work up. Anyway, yeah, it's a really cool game room, man. I know maybe like 1 or 2 of you that listen to my podcast have came to see it in person. And thank you for coming to see the apartment. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed seeing it. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed listening to this podcast. Once again, I'm going to end this off, cap it off right here. Thumbs up for the pay-per-view. My next podcast will probably maybe be a Bray Wyatt tribute episode. I'll probably be talking about his career. I don't know much about his early career, like his NXT days. And before then, all I know is that he used to be Husky Harris. And the only time I know, like, I'm starting to, like, really know about his career was, I'm going to say, like, 2013-ish, 2014. Like, or maybe around his debut. And I do know a couple rivalries he's had, such as Matt Hardy and Randy Orton and John Cena, The Undertaker. He's had rivalries with so many great people, and, man, he will be dearly missed. So will Terry Funk and Bob Barker as well. Again, my condolences to all 3 families. It was a really sad week for professional wrestling last week, and, man, I hope to never, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and I really hope to never, we all hope to never see something this bad ever again. It all started Wednesday with Terry Funk, and then the next day was Bray Wyatt, and then I think it was Saturday, I think it was Bob Barker, I believe, and, oh, man, what a horrible week for wrestling. But I'm capping this off now, man. Yeah, so the next time I am doing a podcast will either be the Bray Wyatt review or the next Premium Live event, which I think is the event in India. And John Cena will be there, so that's pretty cool. So, do I think he's going to win a world title to cap off his career at 17-time world champion? I don't know. It would be pretty cool, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think it will, but I do appreciate, again, you listening on here. Down below, I will be putting the link to my Facebook page, the Ape Squad. That's where I post latest episodes of the podcast. Go ahead and please go follow that page. I'm also going to be putting my YouTube channel in. I don't upload on it at all much, like little to none, but I figured I'd put it in there anyway, so you can go see my gaming content that I have on YouTube. All my YouTube stuff is pretty much all gaming content. 99.9% of it is gaming content, so I really do hope you go check that out. But more importantly, my Facebook page, where I do leave latest episodes, and as well as sharing the podcast with your friends. I'm only on Spotify at the moment. I'm not on any other platform. I'm just on Spotify for podcasters and Spotify itself. So if you don't have Spotify, man, I I'm going to try and see if I can find another provider to share these podcasts with. I will try the best I can to do that. But if you don't know where I came up with the name of the Ape Squad and where it all came from, just watch my first episode of the podcast, and everything should add up. And if there's still something that you're confused about, let me know. And by let me know, I mean comment on the episode on the Facebook page. That's the only way I can kind of get in contact with you, to be honest with you. So just go on my Facebook page, which will be linked below. If you have anything to talk about the podcast, just go underneath the podcast you want to talk about. Like, let's say like tonight's. Let's say you have your thoughts about Payback, the Payback pay-per-view. Put your comment under the Payback review. Don't put it under like the SummerSlam review, because I'm gonna read it, yeah, but it just doesn't make sense to put it underneath the SummerSlam review. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm ending this off, putting the Facebook page down below in the description. Highly recommend you check that out, follow it. I put latest episodes there, share it, and you can also share it to your friends and family, whoever you want to share it to. Please do put the word out on me. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Payback, get the thumbs up for me, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Have a great morning, guys.